Welcome to part two. We got Link's crossbow training. Link's crossbow training for the Wii. Picked this up for about $5. Complete disc and a little manual, and maybe a ground mustard stain up there. Hopefully, it's ground mustard and not poop. Um, the reason I picked this up mainly was because it's a Wii exclusive, obviously, and it makes good use of the Wiimote for targeting stuff, which is really fun. My understanding is this was a pack-in with the Wii Zapper, which I definitely need to get at some point. I think I hypothesize that in the future this game will be hard to come by because of the nature that it comes in just a little cardboard sleeve. These things will be thrown away or neglected or just lost. I eventually plan on ordering a reproduction case, an actual like Wii case with the artwork on it to put this game in, and I'll still keep the little sleeve just because that's how I roll. But this is a fun game. The game itself is really cool. It was made to really show off the Wii Zapper, which I don't have, like I said, but it works fine with the regular Wiimote. You don't need a Wii Motion Plus or anything; just the regular Wiimote works fine. It's basically a shooting gallery of stuff, but also there are third-person stages where you're Link and you can duck and dodge and stuff away from bad guys as they swing clubs at you, like these goblin things, which I didn't even know that stuff was in there, or like a defense game where skeleton monsters come out of the ground and you got to shoot them all before they get Link and get all these high scores. It's really cool, and the graphics are really nice on this. It reminds you of the first person stuff that Nintendo put out on the Wii was really nice looking stuff. It uses I think the same graphical engine as Twilight Princess on the Wii, which is another good looking game that I also own. Um, yeah, this is cool. It was unexpectedly fun. I play tested it for a while, like a few hours, and had a blast actually playing crossbow training. So this is the only Wii pickup, but I'm really happy with it. So earlier I was talking about Batman, right? You know, and how you fight Catwoman, and then it just Catwoman is like scary because Catwoman and freaking meow, it's Catwoman on the Xbox. Um, your buddy Tarasco Voltorb, as you know, has this penchant for torturing himself and being kind of a masochist when it comes to these. Oh, Blockbuster sticker, check that out. These terrible games, and I tried Charlie's Angels, Zorro, but I paid dearly this time for being so daring. This game is bad. It's real. There's no way around it. Even though Halle Berry's in it, I don't care. It's still bad. As my friends in South America would say, chicos, este juego es bien pero bien caca. As to say, guys, this game is really shitty. This game is complete ass. You play as Catwoman from the movie, the horrible movie too, and you go around, you beat up bad guys that you can't even directly kill. You have to just knock them into set piece takedown things like dumpsters or bookshelves, and the camera's all over the place. You have your whip, which is pointless. You can scale walls and scale things that aren't highlighted anyway. It's like, hey, figure it out, pal. Which whatever. I guess it has no hand holding in that regard, but this game needs it. It's terrible. This is an awful game. This is just a complete dumpster fire. You're better off playing Charlie's Angels or Zorro on the Wii, or any trash game you can think of the top of your head. E.T. on the Atari. I don't know. It might be more fun than this. This game is just awful. The graphics are middling. That's about the best praise I can give. Um, even when the game boots up and you hit new game, it goes, "Oh meow, a new victim." It's Halle Berry saying that. Like she knows that the game is cursed and ass, and you are just going to have a horrible time playing it. So yeah, you are a new victim of this Catwoman game. This copy had been laying in my game store for a few bucks for a while. Decided to take the chance because I am a masochist, and this is awful. I'll probably never ever pop this back into the Xbox. That's actually Christ Tales is better. Sorry, Catwoman is a stinker for sure. Let's move on to a much better Xbox game, Sadeki, which Maxim tells us is once again 5 out of 5 stars. Maxim, you give them. They apparently review games with just scantily clad women or women in general and say they're great. No one cares about the gameplay itself. Missing the manual, unfortunately, but I've been looking for this one for a while because once again, Xbox exclusive, not like Catwoman that plagued a bunch of consoles, and This is, think of Dragon Age Origins, but a little bit faster paced in its combat with some nice cell shaded isk graphics, really crisp stuff with genuinely funny dialogue and good writing. Save the world type of story. You've been there. We've all been there before. We've saved a billion worlds by now with our medieval friends, compadres, and I really like it. It has the same Dragon Age type of potion system to heal yourself in mid combat, experience system, all that stuff. I've been looking for Sadeki for a while, and I remember hearing and reading about back in the day that to advertise for the game, they had models come out dressed like these chicks, and it didn't matter what the climate was. If you were in, Antarctica and you were freezing, and there was a GameStop in Antarctica, apparently, the women would freeze to death in these outfits, or wherever they were, they would just have to wear these things. So yeah, fun. But anyways, this is a cool game, and I highly recommend Sadeki if you're looking for a cool action RPG with the ability to make you chuckle. All right, let's move on to the sole PS2 game of the pickups, but a really good one. This is Zone of the Enders. I had, I still have part two, and check this out. Look how beautiful this looks. This the condition is just immaculate. It even still has the demo disc from Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty on a compact disc format. So it's a blue bottom sample disc, but the actual game is on a DVD ROM, so it's not blue bottom. Whoever had this case and this copy took immaculate care of it. It looks like as if I bought it yesterday, brand new, from EB Games, Best Buy, or Toys R Us, wherever you got your games from back in the day. This game is really awesome. I have part two. It's more of the mech combat, fast-paced mech combat with really crisp, futuristic graphics and cool explosion effects. A really cool story with some anime-ish type cutscenes. I don't really care much for that, but it's what the series is kind of known for, and it's fun. The only thing that kind of bothers me is that the way that the pilot sits in the robot. It's a very phallic type of place for the pilot to sit. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why they did that. Why did they have to do that? I just don't know. I don't know. Sometimes game designers be crazy, man. But anyways, this is a fantastic game, and I highly recommend Zone of the Enders. It's a beautiful game. Um, so pick it up ASAP. It's super cheap, super good. We have one GameCube game that I picked up, and it's a very this is a nostalgic pick, the nostalgic pickup for the episode. WrestleMania 18, the player's choice, the showcase of the immortals. There's a little bit of a crackling going on in my copy, if you can see that, unfortunately. And it only came with the precaution booklet, which kind of sucks. But my brother has this game, and I remember back in the day when we were all about the wrestling. I had the SmackDown games and Shut Your Mouth, which were phenomenal games, and he had this. This was the GameCube's kind of reply to that, and I played it with him a few times. I remember having fun. The characters animate kind of funny, and they look a little janky. The PS2, I think, looked better for some reason, even though the GameCube, as you know, has more horsepower than the PS2. But for some reason, the PS2 games just looked a little bit better, in my opinion. And but this was cool because it had some wrestlers that were not in the PS2 games, like my boy Scott Hall, Razor Ramon is in this game. Really cool. It kind of makes me want to get back into wrestling games of how much fun I was having play testing. Some of the classics are in here, like the Dudley Boys, the Hardys, Rob Van Dam, obviously The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. It's a cool game. I'm pumped to have it. It brings me a lot of memories, a lot of fond memories. So I'm happy to have this. I definitely need a second GameCube controller to see if anyone wants to come over and do some wrestling games with me one day. Let's see what we got next. I picked up a lot of really cool PS3 stuff. Let's start off with one that's not so cool, which is Army of Two. And it's empty right now. It's in the PS3 because I'm giving it a chance. So I'm a big time supporter of the PS3 collection and collecting PS3 stuff in general right now. I think the prices are about to skyrocket. These games are becoming really old, really fast, just like us. And basically, this is the time to pick the games up. They're super cheap right now, so buy them now. Buy. This is kind of one of those buys. I've seen Army of Two laying around at every shop you can imagine for a few dollars, and this was the same case with this one, this copy. Picked it up. I heard back in the day, this was the game to play with a friend. You were two uh, contractors, military contractors. You go out and shoot up all sorts of bad guys and all over the place. And there's lots of cool tactics. Like if your buddy gets wounded, you can grab him by his plate carrier, heal him behind cover, while the person that's being healed can shoot and provide cover fire while he's being healed. You could swap weapons, like literally toss them to each other, give each other high five and bro signs, or punch each other if you're angry at each other. It's cheesy, and the graphics are okay. It's a very manly testosterone fueled game, but it's just okay. I'm glad to finally check out one of the games in the series because it tells me that I'm not missing out on anything apparently by not going through and picking up the other games because I heard that this is kind of the pinnacle of the series. Part 1, part 2 was about the same, and I think part 3 was complete garbage. So yeah, Army of Two. If you see it for a few bucks and you're curious, go for it. If you don't, you're not missing out on anything here. Next game's been on my list for a while. It's Tomb Raider Underworld. This is cool. I don't know if some of these games are missing manuals or pamphlets, but back then, that's around the time PS3 started basically putting in a 90-day warranty slip inside their games. That's about it. Or one little paper that said, oh, log online to register your game and get access to the manual digitally. Which, whatever, that's kind of lame in my opinion. Maybe I'll stick like an Arby's coupon in there because it's the equivalent of that. Who cares? But anyways, back to the game itself. Tomb Raider Underworld is probably the best of the Tomb Raider games before she got remade a second time. Before Lara Croft got remade a second time. Think of Uncharted, except you're Lara. Um, Graphics are great. Gameplay is solid. Lara looks a little bit like a mannequin in this, like she's made out of silicone. But it's a good game. The first stage is impressive. Actually, you're going underwater with a spear gun in this ancient underwater ruins, and it looks really nice. It's more puzzle centric than Uncharted. Leans more towards puzzles than combat, in my opinion. But it works. It works for that. It's a nice, refreshing change of pace from other adventure games. And it's a fun game, and it's super cheap, and it's a great pickup to have if you're nostalgic for the old Tomb Raider games like 1, 2, and 3. It really harkens back to that, but gives them a nice PS3 facelift. Very nice game. Very happy to own it. Check this one out. The next game has also been on my list for a while, and it's Assassin's Creed Rogue. This one has a little manual, little thing. Ubisoft like to put a lot of stuff, like register your stuff. Oh, look, download a free in-game content. Look, you guys should take that code, screenshot that. It's probably not active anymore, but whatever. This game came out for the PS3 at the same time Black Flag came out for the PS4 and PS3. I played Black Flag on my PS4 and I loved it. It's my favorite Assassin's Creed game. But this one might be inching its way to be second favorite from the brief time I had with it. It has the pirating mechanics of the ships and everything, but it's just done really nicely and the graphics hold up. It performs quite well on the PS3 actually. There's a PS4 version that locks you at 30 frames, I think, and is just an okay upgrade. It probably is the better way to play it, honestly, but I think Rogue on the PS3 is still a totally playable experience. You should check it out if you like Assassin's Creed. The story is what intrigues me. You're not an assassin anymore. You're one of the Templars, hunting assassins, which is really cool. And this was in that era, right around where the main, like the real-time story of Assassin's Creed kind of tanked and fell off the wayside. Uh, but this is a fun game. I really like, sailing around, blasting stuff with the cannons, climbing trees, hunting down beavers and making hats out of them. That's all in here. You want your beaver hat making stuff? This is the one for you. The next two games are surprise pickups for me because I never thought I'd really own any of the Silent Hill games. Silent Hill Homecoming, with a kind of crusty case that looks like it was pulled out of the depths of Silent Hill itself. Probably, I know I'm missing a manual on this one. This was at the local game store. I paid about market price for this, if not a little bit more, which I'm kind of upset about that, but whatever. Um, I I hypothesize that with the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake, a lot of these old Silent Hill games, even the unpopular games like Homecoming, are going to kind of go up substantially in price. So I wanted to get it before that. I played a bit of it. and it's scary. I don't do well with scary games, as you heard me say a billion times. But this was fun. It was scary, but I barely squeaked through the scary parts to get into this guy. Basically, comes back home, hence Homecoming, and explores this town that's all beat up and everything's gone to hell. And that part is really cool. I like the story. I like the graphics. I like the way the game looks and how it plays. It's a tricky game, and my music just cut out. Hopefully, it comes back. I hope you guys were enjoying Bayou Boogie from Donkey Kong Country 2. But anyways, so this game is really neat. I could see the complaints about it. The people, the Silent Hill purists, did not really enjoy this one, but it's still a neat experience. Coming from someone that's never played 2 or 3, I enjoyed it for what it is, and I don't think the stories really link up too much together. So you can kind of go into this blind and still enjoy it. All right, and the next PS3 pickup was the big one that I'm excited about: Silent Hill Downpour. Silent Hill Downpour, complete copy in really great shape, is the rarer of the 2 PS3 Silent Hill releases and is priced as you would expect. It's an expensive PS3 game. It's not going to destroy your wallet, but you really have to put some thought if you want to pick it up or not. I didn't have to put much thought into it because it was marked at about half the price for some reason. So I picked it up. I like the story in this one much better. I like the fact that you're some kind of prisoner or convict being transported somewhere on a bus, and the bus crashes and you're dumped into Silent Hill, or a town that's Silent Hill. A pseudo open world type of thing. It gives the illusion that it's open world, but not really. Um, it's a fun game. The Silent Hill fans hated this game when it released because it was totally different from the other games. I guess they didn't like the structure of it and the way it handled. And the performance is garbage in this game. It performs terribly. I guess Silent Hill Homecoming was on an already established engine, and this is a brand new engine used by the team, and it struggled mightily on the PS3. It like has unexplained frame drops. I was going up stairs that were dimly lit. You could only see basically a silhouette of your character in the walls as you were going up these stairs, and the frame rate just tanked. Like, what was going on? What happened there? What's up with those stairs? I mean, are they gilded stairs that I can't see in the light, but they're still being processed? What's going on? But this is a really cool game. I'm happy to have both these Silent Hill games in my collection. This one's a lot less scary than that one, but it's still scary enough. Probably keep Churrasco at bay for the most part. If I ever beat Homecoming, I'll dive into this, or maybe I'll just play them separately because, like I said, the stories aren't really tied in. It's just two unfortunate people being linked somehow to Silent Hill or wherever their towns are, and they're in for a bad time. So yeah, really excited to have both those PS3 games. And now for the big reveal. What I'm most excited about in this video is the story of the Nintendo DS. This is a DSi XL. So on OfferUp, I got a DSi or a DS Lite. It was a black one. The black one with the original charger, 2 really cool loose games, and that crusty copy of Black Hole Rising. So I got all that for a really amazing price, and I couldn't complain. I was very elated. I was extremely happy to check this out because I love Nintendo's handhelds. I really do. I love my Game Boy. I love my Game Boy Advance SP. They're both phenomenal. I have great experiences on all of them. So I wanted to get another one, and this was the next evolution. I know a lot of you guys are wondering, Churrasco, why didn't you get the 3DS? It's like, well, honestly, at this point, the 3DS doesn't really intrigue me. It doesn't have any games I really want to play. But the DS did. And this is also a Super Mario Bros. 25th anniversary edition of the console. And I put a plastic, kind of cheap protector on it to kind of give it a little bit more of a meaty feeling. Just it feels more protected, to lie to myself and say it's protected. But anyways, the original DS, the top screen started to flicker. Basically, it was unplayable. And I was pissed. I tried to look for fixes, and taking apart one of these consoles looks like a nightmare and a half. So I decided I'm just going to sell the defective one on OfferUp for almost nothing. Take it as a loss. But what I paid for it, including the games that you'll see later, more than made up for the fact that I got sold a broken DS Lite. I sold the DS Lite listing that it was broken, though, because I'm a nice guy. I'm not, a scumbag like the guy that sold me the DS Lite in the first place. But then I bought this one. I went all out and splurged a bit to get this. It's an immaculate shape. The screens are great. Some very, very faint scratching on the outside too, but this is really, really nice. I'm excited to have this. And let me show you the two games that came with it. Uh, First up, Metal Slug 7 in a reproduction case because it came obviously loose with the console. This game is moderately pricey, and I'm excited to have it. I have all the Metal Slug games now, except for maybe a couple on the Game Boy Advance. And this game is really cool. I already beat it. I had to beat it on easy difficulty, or else I'd say it's borderline impossible. Um, I like the DS, but I'm not a huge fan of the little pen or the stylus gimmicks. There's one game that I'll show you that uses the stylus gimmicks, and I needed to have this game. But anyways, my original DS Lite started glitching. The screen started glitching on this game, so I thought maybe the gameplay was too extreme to handle for the console, but it wasn't. It started playing like garbage on all the other ones, so whatever. You know the rest. But yeah, Metal Slug 7, I'm really pumped to have it. It's a really cool game. The other game that came with it was Resident Evil Deadly Silence. This is a port of the PS1 classic. Um, and it has a different mode where you have some stylus gimmicks, like first person slashing zombies with your knife, but it's the stylus. I really suck at this game. It's the I remember playing the original Resident Evil games on the PlayStation 1 briefly back in the day, and I never could get into them because they were scary. This one's a lot less scary now, obviously. But it's still survival horror. Preserve bullets and know what you're doing. Two things I seemingly can't do. I run around the mansion blasting every zombie I see, run out of bullets, get pecked apart by birds, get eaten by dogs, get eaten by zombies. I just don't know what's going on. There's a save file on the cartridge that has, I think, like an endgame file, so I can see the last boss, which is kind of cool. And everybody knows the story of Resident Evil, but this is a really cool piece to have. It's a rare DS game, I would say. Not super rare, not top tier, but it's a tough game to find, and I'm excited to have it. And maybe one day I'll delve back into the Spencer Mansion and try to escape Resident Evil. The next games, all three DS games I bought to bolster the DS collection. First up is Feel the Magic, XYXX. So I remember my brother has this, and it's funny, when he bought it, the scantily clad silhouette woman was kind of off-putting. My parents were like, why, what's going on here? Why is my son getting this? And then later, when I bought this copy and my dad and my wife were with me, they're like, oh, what you got? And I showed them this, and they're like, what the heck is that? It's really not a creepy game. It has some creepy elements every now and then, but basically, you play a lot of mini games with the stylus, using a lot of the gimmicks of the DS, and to impress this chick and take her on a date. It's a get a girlfriend basically simulator thing, except you're doing crazy tasks like saving people from an ant lion or beating up bulls, things like that. But I needed to get this for the nostalgia. It's a very cheap game to get, very easy to come by, and it's a lot of fun. But it's a lot harder than I remember it. But yeah, two games to go. Let's go with something kind of stinky. This is Astro Boy, the video game. I didn't know this was said on the back of the box until after I brought it home, but it's like use all of Astro Boy's powers to save Metro City. Flight, super strength, arm cannons, butt machine guns, and more. I don't know about the butt machine guns, but the damn flying and all the other stuff is really hard to control in this game. I thought that this was the Game Boy Advanced version that I kind of remember being really good. This game is kind of trash. I will say it's my worst DS game, but I picked it up for really cheap, so I'm not really complaining. It's platforming with some shoot 'em up stages, which are arguably more fun than the brawling ones. The brawling ones kind of suck because Astro Boy controls like garbage. I was pressing the button to make him go, and I could have sworn my game broke or my DSi broke because he wasn't responding. He wasn't moving. He apparently has a wind up to start walking, and then he slides like he's on ice, no matter what he's standing on. It doesn't matter if he's standing in mud or steel, he's going to slide around like he's sliding on jelly. It's annoying. And his jumping is terrible. He has to activate his rockets to kind of get a further jump in every now and then. And he can barely do that. It's really hard to make him do that. So he falls into pits over and over and dies and dies and dies. And he's a big sprite, so it's hard to avoid enemy projectiles. Apparently this is based on the movie from, I think, late 2000s, which I never saw. I don't know much about Astro Boy, but I always kind of liked the character because he gave me Mega Man vibes. But this is a bad game. Don't get this game. And I heard that it's also out on the PS2 and the Wii, and those are supposedly awful also. So I would say just stick to the Game Boy Advance one, I think, and play Mega Man instead. And the last game is the gem of the pickups, the hidden gem, the recommendation. Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. I bought this as a sealed brand new copy. It is not an expensive game to get, and it's a lot of fun. If you're a fan of Valkyrie Profile and Final Fantasy Tactics, this is the perfect melding of both of those games, I'd say. Beautiful pixel art. You control your units on a grid like in FF Tactics, and it would take a second, a double take, to realize you're not looking at Final Fantasy Tactics. It looks that good. When you actually engage in combat, you team up with partners that are close enough to do joint attacks, and it turns into the basic fighting system from the first game, from the original game, from Valkyrie Profile 1 or Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, if you're playing it on the PSP. And it looks really good. Great voice acting. It starts off a little slow, and the battles feel a little simple, but as you become more powerful and get more access to different skills and a plethora of different characters, it just opens up so much and becomes such a fun game. Quick story, I beat this game already. It took me about 15 hours to play through. There are 3 different endings that lead to having different characters in your party. And basically, there's ending A, B, and C. A is the best ending and the hardest one to get. B is middling. C is the worst. You get these because you have a plume, a sacrificial plume that you attach to allies during battles. Certain battles that are really hard. You pick, hey, I need you to get super powered with this plume, but you'll breeze through that stage because of that, because they'll be so powerful. But at the end of the fight or that battle, they will permadeath and you'll lose them out of your squad completely. So it's kind of a give and take type of a risk and reward system that works really well. I, being who I am, refuse to let any of my characters die. So I play through the whole game without sacrificing anyone. Little did I know that when you sacrifice someone, not only do they permadeath, but they give you a permanent boon, a special ability that can make the game a lot easier in certain parts. Certain characters give different boons, different abilities. And apparently the way to properly play this is to get the worst endings first, because your new save file goes on and you can go different paths. But no, I played the hardest path to get by not sacrificing anyone, with arguably the worst characters to have in your team, and with no boons or special abilities. And that final boss took a few tries to beat, but when I beat that boss, it was so awesome and so rewarding. Will I play the other paths? Probably, because I'm really curious about the other characters. I'm really excited to check those out. The story is great, super somber. To give you a quick, because I'm really all about this game right now. You play as Wilfred, this young man with double ponytails. I don't like his design too much, but anyways, he hates the Valkyrie because the Valkyrie took away his father, and because of that, later his sister died or something, and a lot of grief that he holds against the Valkyrie for taking his dad away to serve as a soldier for the gods. So he wants to kill the Valkyrie herself. It goes on this awesome quest about redemption and dealing with all his problems, and the best path leads to the best ending for him. But I'm really curious to delve into the others. Anyways, guys, sorry about babbling so much about Covenant of the Plume. Really great game. That's basically it for my pickups. I hope you guys saw something that you might pick up in the future or dive into or curious about, or maybe I satiated your curiosity for certain games. I don't know. I always kind of go into these things with just appreciating the viewership, guys. Thank you so much for checking out my channel, checking out this pickups video. Thank you for joining me in this Babble Fest. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate your viewership. Till the next time, this is Churrasco Voltorb signing out.